The Perils of the Deep Brush. Chick stood there looking out on the deep brush. He couldn't believe how much his life had changed in such a short amount of time. Just a few days ago, he was exploring the homestead without a care in the world. Sadly, those days were over. Hypatia had made her decision, and it was final. No one could get her to change her mind. Not even Aunt Hasidia. Of course, Aunt Hasidia would have advocated for a much harsher punishment, but as far as Chick was concerned, nothing could have been worse than what he had been sentenced to. Peck stood next to him and did his best to encourage him. "Cheer up, Chick," he said. "It could be worse." Chick didn't even want to think about how it could possibly be worse. He quickly changed the subject. "Peck, do you think that it is possible for a chicken to swim?" Peck thought for a moment and said, "No, not that I know of, at least not as far as the Homestead chickens are concerned. Are you thinking about the swimming wilderling chickens of Grymme Creek?" Chick nodded and said, "I was just wondering if they were real." He then looked at his friend and asked, "Do you think they were real?" "I don't know, maybe," said Peck. "If they are, I think I'd like to meet one," said Chick. "Why's that?" asked Peck. Chick shrugged. "Oh, I don't know," he said. "I was thinking I might like to learn how to swim." "Why?" asked Peck. "Because it's something that people say we can't do." Peck just shook his head and thought that this was such a typical Chick response. But Peck could tell by looking at his friend that there was something else other than swimming lessons that was bothering him. He could see that Chick was having difficulty coping with his sentence given to him by the Council of Aunties, or more specifically, the Superior Mother Hen. "I miss my mom," said Chick, feeling very nest sick. "Well, I don't miss mine," said Peck. "I miss my dad too," said Chick, not really listening. "Well, at least you have a dad," said Peck. "Mine took off before me and Quinny were hatched." Peck, seeing that Chick wasn't listening, tried to cheer him up. "Oh, don't be so glum, Chick," he said. "You'll see your folks again." "When?" said Chick. "When am I going to see 'em again?" Peck shrugged and said, "After Chick etiquette class." "Well, when's that?" peeped Chick. "This afternoon," said Peck. Chick groaned. "You mean it's not time to go home yet?" "I thought this thing was over when we left the classroom." "This is just a field trip," said Peck. "We still have to go back for the lecture on the history of nest building." Chick groaned again. This was the first day of Chick etiquette class, and it was not going well at all. It didn't get any better when he heard a shrill-voiced shriek. "Chick, Pinfeather, Pecan, Odwaddle, get back here this instant!" Chick and Peck turned around. The shrill voice that sounded like claws being scraped across a blackboard belonged to their Chick etiquette teacher, Miss Prudence Pettywort. She was a skinny blonde hen with a thin beak and a pinched wattle, a short pea comb that sat pertly atop her pointed head. Her narrow eyes glinted like needles. "You should never leave the group," she clucked angrily. She and a group of chicks were standing at the entrance to the homestead's gate. Nearby were 4 large mid-hens. They had opened the gate and were keeping a watch on everyone. "Oh, we're sorry, Miss Pettywort," said Peck, as he led a reluctant chick back to the group. "As well as you should be," huffed Miss Pettywort. "How do you think that would make your parents feel if one of you got snatched and eaten by a crazed squirrel or some other mad beast from the deep brush. Then, narrowing her needle eyes, she asked, "Are you truly sorry?" Peck replied emphatically, "Oh, yes, Miss Pettywort, we truly are." "How about you, Chick?" balked Miss Pettywort. "Peck said he was sorry. Are you sorry?" Chick didn't want to say anything. He just closed his eyes and wished Miss Pettywort would leave him alone. But she didn't. "Well, Chick?" she squawked. When Chick still would not respond, Peck nudged him. Chick sighed and quietly peeped. "Yes, I'm sorry." Miss Pettywort smugly clucked. "I don't think you appreciate the severity of the situation. I brought all of you out here so you can see how dangerous the deep brush is. How else can you truly appreciate the civilized comfort and safety of the homestead unless you see the perils of the deep brush?" Chick looked around and wondered what on earth was Miss Pettywort talking about. They were standing just outside the gate with 4 mid-hens watching them. What could possibly happen? He also knew that squirrels didn't eat chicks, they ate nuts. Chick, not knowing how to respond, just stood there. Mistaking his confused silence for insolence, Miss Pettywort got red around her thin beak and said, "You obviously don't understand the dangers of the situation. When we get back to the class, you will scratch 100 times. I must stay with the group at all times." "But I don't know how to scratch," peeped Chick. Miss Pettywort fluffed out her feathers and said, "Well, you should have thought of that before you broke the field trip rule about staying with the group." "Miss Pettywort, that does seem a little harsh," said Peck. "Then, Pecan, you will stay with him after class and help him scratch 200 times that I must stay with the group at all times." "But I thought you said 100, peeped Chick. Looking down her beak at him, Miss Pettywort said, "Did I now? Could have sworn I said 300. Not wanting to make things worse, Chick closed his beak and didn't say a word. Satisfied she had made her point, Miss Pettywort nodded curtly and turned to address the class. "All right, children. As I was saying, some of the more dangerous aspects of the deep brush are," as Miss Pettywort continued to lecture on the perils of the deep brush, Chick and Peck slipped to the back of the group. Quinny edged over to them and whispered, "Mama's going to be so mad at you when she finds out that you have to stay after class." Peck cast a cautious glance at Miss Pettywort and saw she was busily explaining about savage chipmunks and marauding bands of turkeys and carnivorous chick-eating plants. Then he whispered, "She's not going to be nearly as mad as Miss Pettywort when she finds out that Mama Bewley is coming to get me after class so I can do my homestead service as part of my punishment for helping Chick." Quinny put her wings on her hips and said, "It's not punishment if you enjoy it." "Says you," quipped Peck. "Hey, what about me?" peeped Chick. "How am I going to scratch 200 times I must stay with the group at all times?" "Oh, don't worry," said Peck. "You'll have to come too." "I do?" Peck nodded. "Don't you remember? As your punishment, not only do you have to attend chick etiquette class, you also have to do homestead service with Mama Bewley." "Oh, that's a relief," said Chick. "Well, don't get too happy," said Quinny. "Miss Pettywort will just make you do them tomorrow." "I'll worry about that tomorrow," said Chick. At that moment, Bernie Malcolm came over and pulled Quinny away. "Quinny, come over here with me before these two get you in trouble." "You can't tell her what to do," peeped Chick. "You're not the boss of her." Bernie peeped back. "Stick it in your craw, Pete baby." Before Chick could call Barney pasty, but Miss Pettywort balked up. "Is there a problem?" Thinking quickly, Peck said, "Oh, sorry, Miss Pettywort. We were just wondering if you knew about the swimming chickens of Grymme Creek." "Oh, don't be absurd," squawked Miss Pettywort. "Chickens don't swim." "There is, however, a savage cannibal tribe of head-hunting wilderlings that have been known to hunt along Grymme Creek. They don't swim, but they do bathe in its waters." "You mean they don't take dust baths?" asked one of the other chicks. "Indeed they do not," clucked Miss Pettywort. She then shuddered in disgust and said, "Oh, that's so unsanitary. Bathing in water." She then went back to lecturing. With Miss Pettiwort's attention diverted, Bernie began taunting Chick by poking at him. When Chick made a move to peck at Bernie, Peck grabbed him. Bernie then wagged his wingtip at him and said, temper, temper, temper. That's what got you in trouble in the first place." Miss Pettywort, barking up again and even louder, demanded, "What is going on over there?" "Sorry, Miss Pettywort," said Chick. "We were just having a disagreement." Annoyed over being interrupted again, Miss Pettywort squawked, "About what?" Thinking quickly again, Peck replied, "About the name of that meat-eating plant you told us about. Bernie said it was the bloody bladderwort, and I say it was the carnivorous cactus." "You're both wrong," said Miss Pettywort. "It's the Venus chick trap." "Oh, yes, thank you, Miss Pettywort," said Peck. "You're welcome," said Miss Pettywort testily. "Now, where was I? Oh, yes, the possum sheds its—" And as Miss Pettywort lectured, Quinny stuck her beak in the air and primly sniped. "Come on, Bernie, let's move away from them before they do get us in trouble." As Bernie followed Quinny, he looked back at Chick and Peck and stuck out his tongue. "Oh, real mature," said Peck sarcastically. "Yeah, mature," echoed Chick. Then, sounding a little sad, Chick said, "I guess they're boyfriend and girlfriend, huh?" "Oh, I wouldn't go that far," said Peck. "She's just trying to make you jealous." "Really?" peeped Chick, trying not to sound too hopeful or even interested. "Yeah," said Peck, "she really likes you, but she gets aggravated sometimes 'cause you don't play along with her silly little games. I'm sure Quinny will come around eventually, not that you really care." "No, of course not," said Chick. Then, changing the subject, Peck said, "By the way, congratulations about your mom. I hear the council is considering making her an auntie." Taken aback, Chick said, "Well, who told you that?" "Ma Bewley. She told me yesterday, but I'm not supposed to say anything. Part of my homestead service is I help her collect and scratch down the homestead's oral history by talking to older chickens. It's really interesting, and I also hear a lot of stuff like what the big clucks are up to." Seeing that Chick looked perplexed, Peck said, "I thought you knew." "She didn't tell me," said Chick. Peck replied, "Oh, well, she's probably waiting to see if they actually offer it to her." "Why would the council want to make my mom an auntie?" "Because Aunt Tiffany is stepping down," said Peck. "Since her big win with your parents, she's been flooded with requests from other chickens who have been accused of rule violations to be their rule fair. So it looks like she's got plenty of work. Besides, being an auntie and a rule fair would be a conflict of interest. If she's such a good rule fair, then why didn't she get me proved innocent?" said Chick. "Because you weren't," said Peck. "You actually did most of the things that Aunt Acidia said you did." "Well, you did too," peeped Chick, "or at least some of them." "Yes, I did," said Peck. "And Aunt Tiffany said I did while she was defending you before the superior mother hen. That's why I was given homestead service instead of being exiled." "Yeah, but being assigned to help Mama Bewley scratch down what do you call it? Oral history. It's not as bad as what happened to me." "Oh, please," said Peck. "You're being made to come to chick etiquette class and occasionally help Mama Bewley. How is that worse?" You like doing yours, said Chick. Well, that's true, said Peck, but still you're lucky you weren't exiled. I kind of wish I had been exiled, said Chick. Then I could go look for the swimming chickens and be with my dad in the deep brush. You see your dad every evening when he comes home, said Peck. So, peeped Chick, the new job the superior mother gave him keeps him so busy I hardly see him. Still, said Peck, you gotta admit, being the Homestead's very first official botanist is still pretty cool, with doing all that research on plant cultivation and development. I hear he's doing some pretty exciting things with blackberries. Yeah, he's trying to breed them so you don't get those tiny seeds stuck in your beak, said Chick. And he sometimes brings home some pretty tasty treats for you to try, said Peck. Well, that is good, said Chick, but what I like best about his new job is how mad Aunt Hesidia got when the superior mother gave it to him. She was pretty mad, said Peck. Yep, said Chick, and he no longer has to answer to Aunt Hesidia. He answers directly to the superior mother. The only downside is Aunt Hesidia still outranks him because he's a coop chicken. I guess there are some things that even the superior mother can't change. Chicken classism is such a load of chickenberries, said Peck. Suddenly their attention was diverted by a loud ruckus. When they looked up, they saw Maw Bewley giving Miss Pattywort a thorough henpecking. Do you nigh e'er tell me when I can or can't come and gets me charges? Balked the old hen. 'Tis auntie business, it is, and I nae be told by the likes o' you. The hapless Pattywort tried to counter. But we have rules too, she quavered, and they must be followed. I am perfectly within my rights to make any chick stay after class and scratch sentences. Now if he canna scratch, the old hen squawked. There's rules again, according to them rules on chick discipline, and all punish here to teach a chick to be a better chick. Giving a chick a punishment it canna do, since he is scratching, why he ain't learned it, yet you ain't teaching. That's chick abuse, that is. Even if you doubts me, I can have you up before the council on the morrow. Finally giving in, Miss Pattywort anxiously clucked. Oh, that won't be necessary, Auntie Cornut. I can see that I was clearly mistaken. I apologize. 'Tain't needs me you need to be apologizing to, clucked Maw Bewley. Miss Pattywort clucked. Yes, of course. Then, waving her wings, she called, Pecan Chick, could you come over here, please? Chick and Peck made their way to the front of the group. Miss Pattywort, doing her best to maintain her sagging authority before the rest of the class. Why didn't you tell me you had Homestead service? Oh, we thought you knew, said Peck. Everyone else did. Ah, yes, well, I usually get a note on such matters, said Miss Pattywort anxiously. Then, seeing Maw Bewley's stern expression, she quickly added, I'm sure I got the note and just forgot. In any event, you both are excused for the day, and you are to accompany Auntie Cornut to do your Homestead service. Now, run along. Maw Bewley made a rumbling sound that made Miss Pattywort quickly add, And I apologize for any misunderstanding. Maw Bewley then leaned closer to Miss Pattywort, causing her to quaver. And I am... Miss Pattywort closed her eyes and forced herself to say, I was wrong, and since you haven't learned to scratch, Chick, you can forget about the sentences. You too, Peck. Looking at Maw Bewley, the old hen made a curt nod to show she was satisfied. Then, in an attempt to gather the remnants of her shredded authority, she said, Still, you should stay with the group on field trips. However, we can overlook it this time. Just please try to remember the rules. As Maw Bewley led Chick and Peck away from the group, the old hen muttered, That should learn that deaf old biddy to interfere with auntie business. Chick nudged Peck and said, maybe this chick classism ain't so bad, especially if you got somebody like my Ma Bewley on your side. I still say it's a load of chickenberries, said Peck. Maybe when you grow up you'll change that, said Chick. He then cocked his head to one side. He said, do you suppose a cockerel could grow up to be a superior mother? Not unless he's a Gallioarch and can lay eggs, and then he be a she, said Peck. Oh, stranger things have happened, said Chick. Like a chicken learning to swim, said Peck. You never know, said Chick.